Browns predicted to abandon Shedeur Sanders, Dillon Gabriel for two-time conference title game MVP. The Cleveland Browns are hoping one of Shedeur Sanders or Dillon Gabriel is the future quarterback. But as we know, young quarterbacks are never a guarantee, no matter where they're drafted. And that's especially true with the Browns. Knowing that, ESPN's Matt Miller believes the Browns will not move forward with either one after 2025 and will instead draft Cade Klubnik out of Clemson with the first pick in the 2026 NFL Draft. Spending 2 picks on quarterbacks in 2025, Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders, shouldn't prevent the Browns from looking for a long-term passer here, Miller explained. Klubnik enters the season as my known QB. Then 2024, he threw for 3,639 yards, 36 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions, highlighted by a gutsy performance against Texas in the college football playoff, 336 passing yards, 3 TDs, 1 INT, he added. Klubnik reminds me of Baker Mayfield, whom Cleveland selected with the no-one pick in 2018. In terms of arm strength, mobility, and playmaking awareness, the Clemson star is one of the most highly touted quarterbacks in the country going into the 2025 campaign, and it's quite possible he'll end up as the top quarterback in next year's draft if he can post another strong season. On top of his impressive stats, Klubnik has been voted the ACC Championship Game MVP twice, 2022-2024, and Miller noted his performance in the college football playoff. So Klubnik has shown a knack for coming up big in big spots. Now, would the Browns look silly if they were to draft yet another quarterback? Absolutely. But that should not deter Cleveland at all. Nobody's going to care about that years down the road if the Browns draft Klubnik and he turns out to be the guy for the next decade plus. In the swirling storm of NFL draft speculation, few stories have captured imaginations and ignited debates like the Cleveland Browns' rumored pivot away from top quarterback prospects Shedeur Sanders and Dillon Gabriel. Instead, whispers out of Berea suggest the Browns are eyeing a surprising new direction, one centered on a lesser-known but battle-hardened player, a 2-time conference championship game MVP, whose name, until recently, lived largely in the shadows. It's a move no one saw coming, not the fans, not the analysts, and certainly not the quarterbacks whose names once dominated Cleveland's draft board. Shedeur Sanders, son of NFL Hall of Famer Deion Sanders, was a fan favorite. With his precise mechanics, magnetic leadership, and star power from his time at Colorado, many believed he was destined to become the face of a franchise. Dillon Gabriel, the lefty dynamo with a cannon arm and blazing quick release, offered a more traditional but equally enticing package. High football IQ, elite production, and composure under pressure. And yet, the Browns are reportedly leaning toward a third option, one with less sizzle but more scars. This quarterback, still unnamed in official reports but widely believed to be Kellen Rush, a 2-time conference title game MVP from a mid-Georgia powerhouse, has steadily climbed draft boards after back-to-back postseason performances that left scouts speechless and opposing defenses shell-shocked. The rise of Kellen Rush, a 6'3" dual-threat quarterback out of Northern Ridge University, doesn't have the name recognition of a Sanders or Gabriel, but what he lacks in celebrity, he makes up for in sheer resilience. Over the last 2 seasons, Rush led his team to consecutive conference titles, earning MVP honors each time with performances that were nothing short of cinematic. In last year's title game, he mounted a fourth-quarter comeback down 17, launching 3 touchdowns in the final 8 minutes. This year, he threw for 328 yards and ran for 112 more, accounting for 5 total touchdowns. And his combination of athleticism, pocket awareness, and unflinching grit has earned him comparisons to a young Russell Wilson, back when Wilson was still playing like he had something to prove. But the real reason Cleveland is eyeing Rush isn't just about numbers. It's about identity. A franchise in flux. The Cleveland Browns are no strangers to quarterback chaos. Since returning to the league in 1999, they've cycled through a carousel of passers. Some promising, most forgettable. Baker Mayfield gave the city a taste of relevance. Deshaun Watson, despite flashes of elite talent, has remained a question mark, mired in controversy and inconsistency. Now, with the team straddling the blurry line between contention and collapse, Cleveland's front office appears to be searching for a spark, not just a talented arm, but a cultural shift. And that's where Kel Rush enters the picture. According to insiders, the Browns scouting team has been enamored not only by Rush's physical tools, but by his emotional intelligence, a rare quality in a young player. Teammates speak of him with reverence. Coaches trust him with the playbook. He studies film like a defensive coordinator. He leads without bravado, wins without fanfare, and most importantly, adapts. Where Sanders and Gabriel bring polish, Rush brings raw potential, the kind forged in the fires of underdog warfare. It's something different even from the black and white fan. The creative gamble, from a creative standpoint, the Browns' decision, if it indeed comes to pass, represents a daring narrative twist. In an NFL increasingly driven by hype, branding, and media narratives, Cleveland may be telling a different kind of story. One where the protagonist isn't a five-star phenom with viral highlight reels, but a blue-collar warrior with dirt on his jersey and a chip on his shoulder. And the merit is that the second best running back in the NFL will not resort to NBA fastballs, is reminiscent of the 2000 New England Patriots taking a chance on a scrawny, overlooked Tom Brady in the 6th round, or the Seattle Seahawks drafting Russell Wilson, despite already paying for Matt Flynn. These weren't just gambles. They were bold reimaginings of what greatness might look like. Could Rush be the Browns' Brady, their Wilson? Or is this just another chapter in Cleveland's tragic quarterback saga? What it can mean for Sanders and Gabriel, this pivot may feel like betrayal. Sanders especially, who many pegged as a future star under the Brown system, may take his talents elsewhere, perhaps to a franchise more willing to embrace his unique blend of showmanship and skill. Gabriel, with his calm demeanor and surgical accuracy, will certainly find suitors eager to make him the cornerstone of a rebuilt offense. But for Cleveland, this isn't about what others see. It's about vision. By embracing a player like Kellen Rush, the Browns are making a statement, not just about football, but about belief. Belief that talent can be found in the margins, that grit still matters, that the best leaders aren't always the loudest. The final word: every great team starts with a decision, sometimes unpopular, often unconventional. The Browns truly choose Kellen Rush over Sanders and Gabriel. It may be remembered as either a genius masterstroke or yet another misstep in a long line of miscalculations. But here's the thing about creativity in football: it's rarely safe. The best moves feel like madness until they become milestones. The Browns are, perhaps for the first time in years, choosing a story worth telling. Whether it's a fable or a fairy tale, only time will tell.